All right, so rectangular coordinates. So this is just some kind of more review for you guys. So we're almost to the end of everything I want to cover before we get to the first test. But I might throw a couple of these at you um, just to see where you guys are at. So I like to use red for x-axis, and I like to use blue for y-axis. This helps me organize my plotting of the points. It helps me when I'm doing the slope as well. Okay, so there's gonna be you guys are gonna get some graphs, and they're gonna tell you um, what is the distance between 2 points. What is the midpoint between 2 points? So you guys got to be prepared for that. Now the distance, okay, whoops, distance is just the distance formula is just like the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how it's kind of like the Pythagorean theorem. I'm gonna do first the Pythagorean theorem, and then I'm gonna show you the distance formula. All right. So let's say I want the distance between A and B. So we'll connect A and B. Right. We have this. Okay. We have that line. We want to know this distance. Okay. We'll call that C. Right. I know that if I start at this point and I go straight across, I could find a base and the height, and this kind of forms like a triangle. So from this point to this point right here, from this to here, if I count, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 right here. And if I count the red, I got 1, 2, 3. Okay. So Pythagorean theorem tells us that if we go 3 squared plus 4 squared, it should equal to c squared, right? So in this case, we would have 9 plus 16 equals c squared, 25 equals c squared. We take the square root to both sides, so we could get c, and 5 equals c equals to 5. So the distance between A and B is 5. So how does that work with the distance formula? So let's try it out. So let's suppose A is our first point, our x of 1, our y of 1, and B is our x of 2, y is of 2. Okay, so our second point. So it says get the x. We get the x. We subtract x of 1, which in this case is negative 1, and we square it. Plus y of 1, y of 2, which is in this case negative 2, whoops, minus y of 1, which is in this case is 2. We square it. So this becomes a positive, so 2 plus 1, which gives us 3. Negative 2 minus 2 gives us negative 4. Notice these numbers are almost identical. Okay. Then we get this 16, 25. So we get 5, which is the distance, right? So it's the same. Now, the only difference is that this is a negative 4 and this was a 4, right? We got 4. But if you think about it, guys, we actually went down. So when you go down, it's actually negative, right? So you're going down 4 over 3. So down 4 over 3, it's kind of like the slope. So it's kind of the same idea, right? So I just kind of wanted to go through that with you guys. Um, so you guys can kind of make the connection. You've been doing distance formula. You've always done it with the Pythagorean theorem, just now it's kind of more distinct. So let's try doing A and C. A equals to, what was it? Negative 1 over 2, negative 1 comma 2, and C equals to negative 8. So we're going to do it with the distance formula, okay? So we get x of 2, C will be our 2 point, minus x of 1 plus y of 2 minus y of 1. So this becomes, this is a positive 1, so -8 plus 1 is -7. This is -10. This becomes 49. This becomes 100. And this becomes 149. Okay. Now, you might need to break this down, or you might need to put this in a decimal form. I'm not too sure how the computer program asks you, but if it asks you, this is the decimal form. And this is the square root, right? So this would be A and C, the distance between A and C. Okay. So um, just a little FYI. Okay. Now, here's a bonus. I want you to find the distance between B and C. And here's what I want you guys to do. If you're watching this video, which everybody should be watching it, I want you to do the distance, just the way we did it, distance formula, and I want you to shoot me an email. Okay? Anybody who shoots me an email is going to get 5 bonus points. Okay? Um, whether it be on a homework or on a quiz or whatever, you'll get 5 bonus points. Okay? But you have to follow these directions, right? You have to do distance formula, you have to show your work, and you have to shoot me the email. All right? And the email has to go to my South Texas College email, the STC email, not the PSJ one. Okay, if you send it a PSJ, it's not going to count. I'm not going to give you the 5 points. So you have to pay attention. Bonus, extra 5 points has to be emailed to my STC email, and it has to be a distance formula. Kind of use Pythagorean theorem. All right. All right. So now, so we asked you about distance, right? But now they can also ask you about midpoint. Now, midpoint to me is a lot easier, right? Um, but a lot of students will get these two mixed up, right? Because it's two formulas that are being learned at the exact same time, and they don't look alike, but they're involving the same stuff. So let's say we have the same exact points, right? Okay, and we want to find the midpoint of A to B. In this case, what we do is we get our A, which is -1 and 2, and our B, which is 2 and -2. Okay, and what we do, we just add these. So we're gonna add the x's together and then divide by 2. We add the y's together and divide by 2. Okay, so -1 plus 2 is 1 over 2. 2 plus -2 is 0. 0 over 2. And this just becomes 1/2 and 0. So to find the midpoint, we would do this work right here, and this is just 1/2, comma 0. Okay, so that means it would fall somewhere right around here. That would be like the midpoint. It kind of doesn't look like it, but it's there. My drawing is not the best, guys. Okay, so if I wanted to do A to C, AC, oh look, you can see my finger. If you wanted to do AC, so I would get my x's, which in this case, in fact, let me just write C here too, so I could just have a quick glance. I add these two, so I have -8 plus a -1 over 2, -8 plus a 2 over 2. This becomes -9 over 2. This becomes -6 over 2. -8 plus 2, that's a 2, guys. And then this reduces to -3. This reduces to -4.5. Okay, which would fall roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3, roughly around there. Kind of looks like the midpoint, más o menos. Okay, now BC, same concept, right? We get the two x's, we add them over 2, and oh, look at that, they're kind of like the same numbers, right? So this becomes Negative 6 over 2. This becomes negative 10 over 2, which this reduces really nice to negative 3 and negative 5. Right? So negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 5, 4, 5. Yeah, that's about right, halfway. Okay, so if we had a line like this, that'd be like halfway. Okay, so be on the lookout for these. I think on your homework, you're gonna get like one or two of them. You're not gonna get too many. Um, let's see. Oh, this one right here. This is it's probably my favorite thing to do actually. I like to do x and y intercepts. Whenever they give me a graph or an equation or whatever, this is the first thing I do. Before anything, before they even ask me what the question is, I always find x and y intercepts. I don't know why, because I always remember them. Like it's like for me, they're always two very key points that are always gonna pop up. So whether it's just an equation such as these, or if it's an actual problem situation, those always pop up as some type of answer, or a part of the answer, or a part of the key to the answer. So I always do x and y intercepts. And the key thing to it to remember is that you're always gonna input a zero somewhere, right? So for x intercept, you always input y is zero. So if you have an equation like this, I'm gonna input zero for y, and which is cool is that this just kind of becomes zero. So then you're just left with one letter, right? So then you just divide and you get your answer, and you already know this one because you input zero. And for y-intercept, it's the same concept. You're inputting now zero for x, and then you solve, and it's the same thing. So like right here, if I wanted to do my x-intercept, right? X-intercept means I'm gonna put I'm gonna have a number, and I'm gonna put y for zero. So that means this right here is gonna be zero. And now I'm trying to solve for x. So I move the 20 over. I want to get rid of a divide by 3, so I times 3. So now I get 60 equals to negative 5 over, negative 5 times x. Then I divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, right? And then so these cancel, and then it leaves me with x being what is that? 12? Yeah, 12. Negative 12. So my x-intercept would be negative 12 comma 0. Now if I wanted to do I'm gonna do a darker blue because that's a real bright blue. Now if I want to do my y-intercept, the y-intercept is the same concept. Okay, so y-intercept, x is 0 and y is some number. So in this case, I am going to plug in 0 for x. And then what's cool about this is this just cancels, right? Because it's 0. And bam, you're already done. So um, my y-intercept would be 0 comma negative 20. And these are right here key points, guys. They're always going to pop up. You're always going to see them coming up on your questions. Um, even when we're doing quadratics, the application problems where the arrow falls into the ground, we talked about that. That was the x-intercept, right? The initial height of the guy throwing the arrow up, that was your y-intercept. Like these concepts always pop up, so it's good to always practice this. Oh, right here, no calculators. I think this is the last page. Yeah, no calculators for this. All right. Uh, I want us to kind of just use our mental math, right? So right here, we're gonna practice. So we have three equations. I know we could put this in the y equals in the graphing calculator, type it in, it spits out the answer. I know, right? We could go to decimal, same thing. We could go to our cell phone calculators. We could actually just do the multiplication and adding and subtracting, but I don't want that, right? I want us to kind of do it, mentally, right, in our head. So right here we have, let me do it in black. Y equals negative times a negative is a positive, right? 4 minus 3 equals 1. Oh, you know what? I should do it in blue because we're finding y. Let me do it in blue. So we have negative times a negative is a positive. 4 minus 3 equals 1. Okay. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 minus 3 equals, I'm sorry, yeah, 2 minus 3 equals negative 1. This becomes 0, so we're just left with negative 3. And you could already see the pattern happening, right? It's going down by what? By 2's, right? So needless to say that this is going to be negative 5. And needless to say, this is going to be negative 7. Okay? Now, right here, same concept. Negative 12 minus 5. This would be negative 6 minus 5. 0 minus 5. 6 minus 5. And 12 minus 5, right? So negative 12 minus 5 gives us negative 17. Negative 6 minus 5 gives us negative 11. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. 6 minus 5 is just 1. 12 minus 5 is just 7. Okay? So here's the second part to your bonus. I want you guys to do this one. Okay? So to get the full 5 points, you have to find the distance formula of B and C, and you have to submit this one through email to my STC email. So distance of BC using the distance formula, and I want to see all this work. Kind of just like the way I did it right here. I want to see all this work. Okay, put them next to each other, take a picture, upload the picture to and send it to my email. It has to be to my STC email. If not, no bonus 5 points. Okay, all right. See you guys later.